everybody, how are you guys doing? To be honest, I wasn't even planning on doing this video. It is the night before I'm supposed to post this video at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm just now filming. It's been one of those weeks, hence me looking like I do, but guess what? This is me. This is real life. Stuff happens and life gets in the way. Sometimes you don't meet your expectations. Sometimes you fall and stumble, and that's okay. You just get back up and keep going. And I had a really rough day. One day this week I broke down crying. I mean, as soon as I got my cup of coffee that morning, it was kind of it for me. That day was just spent locked in my room, and I just, sometimes you just need that. You just need that day of just solitude, and I just had a lot of time to just kind of pray and reflect, and it was good. It was healing. I have been running every day for the last week. It is one thing that I've been doing to keep myself accountable is moving my body every day for 30 minutes. And I am not able to run consecutively for 30 minutes straight yet. I will own up to that right now. But my goal is just to run a mile, even if it has to be a slow jog. It's not even a run yet, but that's okay. I'll get there. I started running very inconsistently, actually, about a little less than a month ago. It was about three and a half weeks ago. And I looked back at my time, and it was like 13 minutes and 36 seconds. And I've ran just a few times, in between then and now. It's not been daily up until this last week, but I ran 10 minutes and 4 seconds. What? I was elated. When I stopped running, I was so freaking proud of myself, you guys, that I am just over the moon. And so I, had been putting this video off. I've been kind of in that self wallowing phase, just not really wanting to deal with life. And as soon as I saw that, it was something that I've been doing, every day for this last week. But when I finally saw that, it was like, this is gonna sound so stupid, but I can do anything. What? I am Wonder Woman right now. And it was literally the fastest I've ever ran in my life. And I used to be on the track team in middle school, so that's saying something. But I was so dang proud of myself that I knew that I had to come on here and share this video with you guys, because what the main topic that I'm taking away from this this particular keynote from Ed Mylett is staying consistent, but giving yourself grace. And when you mess up, just keep going. Give yourself grace. But when even in the small victories, just be proud of yourself. And oh man, it just felt so good. It felt so good. Oh, I can't even explain it. So in doing my daily run, I have been mentally making that promise to myself, just saying I'm going to run every day. And even if there was one day where I messed up my knee because I was just pushing it too hard, and I am not a runner, I'm not an athlete, I don't exercise at all. I'm not a fitness person, and so I messed up my knee. I had to wear a wrap and be careful, and I could barely make it up the stairs. Probably why I fell. But I pushed it a little too hard, and I still pushed myself even further, and I ran that day, but I only ran a half a mile. The rest of the time, I walked. And that's normally what I do so that I get the full 30 minutes of moving my body. Is I'll walk a little bit before, and then I'll do my run, and then I'll walk a little bit after to do like a cool down. And so the full time I go outside, it's like 9 o'clock at night, everyone's inside, I have my headphones on, I'm just like jamming, I am like dancing all around. And so I get my full 30 minutes of moving my body. But that is a promise that I made to myself. And every time you say that you're gonna do something, it doesn't even have to be written down. It doesn't have to be a goal up on your wall. It doesn't have to be, some big spectacle that you share on social media. It just is saying, thinking to yourself, man, I want to wake up early tomorrow. Man, I should really clean out my closet. All of these little things that you're thinking in your head, they're promises that you're making to yourself. And when you get in the habit of breaking those promises, it completely destroys your self-confidence. Because when you start to get in that cycle, you start to think about your past promises that you've either kept or you have broken. And so I got in this bad cycle of just constantly breaking promises that I've made to myself. It could be small things, it could be big things, but that is the one thing that I really, really struggle with. I'm so good at coming up with these big, grandiose ideas. Like, I see in my head where I could be 10 years from now, and if I told people around me in my life what that looks like, they'd probably think I'm crazy. But that's because I know God has placed in my heart that, like I've said on here before, your words matter, my words matter. I know that with the help of God and with a willingness and with, actually putting in the work, you can do such great things. These videos started off as some sort of it was cathartic for me. It was good for me to be able to keep myself accountable to something. But just a few days ago, I hit 500 views. And that may not seem like a huge thing to, anybody else on YouTube who have, thousands and millions and whatnot. But for me, that was a big deal. It was really exciting because I didn't think this was gonna be anything. I thought that maybe I'd put a couple videos up, and then honestly, I was thinking that was gonna be it. I would just not stick with it because I've not stuck with things before. That was my limiting belief that I had replaying in my head, that I'd not kept my promises, so why would this time be any different? But I finally start to break down those negative habits that I've had in my life, and it starts with just every day. I told myself, for 1 week, you can do this for 1 week. Just move your body for 30 minutes. And if that looks like going on a run or doing bodyweight exercises in the garage, just do something and stick with it. And I have, and it's so exciting to see the progress. It was like 2.5 minutes that I took off of a 1 mile run. That is life-changing for me. That is like so far beyond. I've never ran faster than probably an 11.5 minute mile. Just yesterday it was 11 minutes and 1 second. And then today it was 10 minutes and 4 seconds. But it's little things like that that add up, and they can either build your self-confidence or tear it down. Give yourself credit. When you keep those promises to yourself, I took a screenshot of the 4 runs that I had actually recorded that at the time I thought it was momentous, and so I screenshotted it, and so I just put it into a collage and I shared it. I shared it on social media and some groups that I'm a part of, and I was proud of myself. And that's so encouraging, not to just hold yourself accountable, but other people need to see that too, because it builds so much of our own belief in ourselves when we see that other people have done this. Why can't I? Because there's nobody who is better or more capable or stronger or more skilled at this particular thing that is stopping you from achieving your goals and your dreams. God has set a specific purpose in your life, and He knows your heart. And when you actually just go all in and you just work your freaking ass off, you can do anything. Another thing that he talked about was the fact that we're facing so much uncertainty right now. And this has come up in a lot of my videos because right now I'm still in quarantine. I'm in Hawaii, and they actually just extended the stay-at-home shelter-in-place order until the end of June. Right now it is May 16th. When I post this, it'll be May 17th. And we've been in quarantine since the last week in April. So that's a long time. There's a lot of uncertainty here. But what he was talking about was the fact that as we get older, we tend to shy away from uncertainty because it's scary, because we don't know what's going to happen, because we like to control things. But when we were little, everything was uncertain and we chased headfirst after it. It was exciting, it was new, it was an adventure. And I think that if you really got back to that childlike nature and you just had just a wondering for anything that was going to happen, you just wanted to know everything, and you chased after that uncertainty with an open mind and an open heart, you'd be very excited and you'd be very shocked by what you believe in your mind is possible. We have a very narrow understanding of what we can actually accomplish in our lives as adults, and I think that has come from, at least in my family, in my circumstance, that I always wanted stability. I had a very unstable childhood. I was moving back and forth all the time. My parents split up. I was in and out of relationships. I was just, it was all a whirlwind all of the time. And so I think for the longest time, that's what I've kind of gravitated towards, was having that certainty, knowing what was going to happen, knowing the end outcome. But when you go back to who you were, think of the traits and the characteristics that made you so special when you were a child, and what the uncertainty looked like in your life. Even if you brought a little bit of that into your adult life would be so exciting. It would be new. It would be unknown. And so with more uncertainty comes more challenges, but it has a direct connection between your productivity and your happiness. There's so much to be said when you have great dreams and you have these big, grandiose ideas, because it's unique, it's different, it's what makes you you. There has been so many advances in technology and medicine and everything over the last few hundred years, that if people only stuck to what they knew was certain and what they knew the outcome was going to be, none of this would have existed. Life as we know it would not exist. It would be stuck in time. It would not be growth. There would not be new opportunities. And the fact that we have people who are willing to step into that uncertainty is what makes the world go round. To get down to the root of the quality of your life, you have to you have to start looking at the quality of your emotions. When you have a negative thought and when you feel something that doesn't feel good come into your mind, you have to ask yourself if this is even true. if this thought that you're having, is this true or is this a made up reality? And even if it is true, is this serving me? Is having this thought and thinking this way, is this serving me? Is this making me a better person? Is this helping me to be more productive and be happier and spread joy to other people? And if it's not, you gotta go. A lot of people like to think, I'm sure they don't like to, but they tend to think that life is happening to them. And when you stop and take a look and start to change the questions that you ask yourself, that life is not happening to you, but it's happening for you. Look at your situation, take a step back and ask, how is this working for me? What is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me? How can I learn and grow from this experience? One thing that I've been struggling with the last few weeks is a feeling of helplessness. And he touched on this so simply, but so beautifully, because the antidote to helplessness is being helpful. When you feel like you just have nothing left, like you need something to come and rescue you, that's when you need to go and be a blessing to someone else. Someone recently pointed out to me that I was being selfish in my feelings, in my thoughts, in my day-to-day life, that I was so concerned just about myself, and I was getting down and I'm not doing enough and maybe I should just give up and this isn't right, and just wrapped up in me. And she said that God is working in you to work through you. I don't get to fix myself and become the best version of myself to keep it to myself. People need to hear what you have to say because you are a gift. You are God's precious child. And what you have to offer people through your experience, through your knowledge, through your love, through your stories, it is so important. And it's selfish to think that you wouldn't want to help somebody with that. The last thing I want to mention is something I have actually implemented into my life, and it's been amazing. So I highly recommend you at least just try it. Just give it a shot. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to cost you anything. It is splitting your days into mini days. So there's 3 parts. There's morning, afternoon, and evening. And actually, I know you guys can't see, but there's my morning, afternoon, and evening. It starts at 6 a.m. and it ends about 11:30. So there's 6 increments in each time slot. And it was so good how he explained it. I wish I could remember what he said exactly. But what you do is you think about, on your most productive day, on your day where you feel like, wow, I accomplished everything that I wanted to get done. You break those up into sections, and for me, it's family, fun, faith, and work, and like self-development. So I guess there's like 5. But what you do is you take those 5 things and you have them in all 3 mini days. So you don't just add one thing of work in your entire day. You don't just add one thing of family in your entire day. You have all of your things in each mini day. And it is incredible how much you can accomplish when you look, okay, in my day, I have 6 hours. This is my day from 6 a.m. to noon. I have 6 hours. This is it. Because just like everything else, the more you have of something, the less value it holds. So when you think, I only have 6 hours, what am I gonna accomplish? It puts everything into a new perspective. And when you use your time like nobody else, you can have a life like nobody else has. And that is powerful. At the end of the day, you get out of life what you think you deserve. And if you take a look at your life and you're unhappy with it, only you have the power to do something about it. No one is going to come in and rescue you. You don't need to be rescued. You have everything within yourself to make all of your dreams come true. And that may seem like such a cliche thing to say. That may seem, so just crazy and out there. But look at the people who you admire. Who are your heroes? When you look at someone's life, whoever it may be, and you say, that's the kind of life I want to live, they're just people. They are humans like you and me. The only difference between the life that they have and our lives, whatever life you're living right now that isn't living up to your fullest potential, that dream life that you want, is the fact that they were willing to do the work. They were willing to push harder when they wanted to give up. They were willing to do things that people weren't. And they didn't give up. They had that end goal in mind. They had that vision that I'm sure they got mocked for, that people called them stupid for, that, no one believed that they could ever really make that happen. But they're just humans like you and me. They're just people. They're real life people who are living everything that they had ever set out to because they did the work. It's been a crazy week for me, and like I said in the beginning, I didn't even want to make this video. I feel privileged enough to have the calling on my heart that I feel like God is really using me to touch other people. And even as small as my channel is right now, and the amount of Facebook friends and Instagram followers that I have, I know I'm a very small fish. But if I can touch even just one person, if someone is counting on me to come and speak these words into their lives every week and to share things that maybe they would have never heard ever in their life, and if it sparks something in just one person, I have to remember it's my responsibility. That is my responsibility, even when I'm scared, even when I'm fearful, even when I'm tired, even when I'm in a bad mood. I have to show up anyway, because no one else is going to do it for me. And it's doing such a disservice to the calling on my heart that God has placed within me to give up, to call it quits, to be selfish and think that I don't matter, that what I say doesn't matter, that I'm not affecting lives, that I'm not touching people. Because I know it's not by my own power, it's by God's. And I know that when He works, it's game over. There is no stopping Him. There is no limit to what He is capable of. And when I kind of just take a step back and say, okay, God, I know you got me. I know you got this. I will say what you want me to say. I will put myself out there. I'm going to show up anyways, and you do the work. Because He's gonna show up. He always does. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that tonight. Gosh, I did not know, honestly, a lot of these people before I watched Rise Live, but Ed Mylett, holy cow, he is so he's just so inspiring. He's so raw and real, just straight to the point. Like, talk about slap you in your face. Go look him up if you need to have some like hard-hitting truths, because he'll give it to you. So I hope you guys have a fabulous Sunday, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.